The first truck arrived at MetLife Stadium at 4 in the morning. Inside, Tahoma 31 Bermuda grass, cut before dawn in North Carolina, vacuum chilled to 38 degrees Fahrenheit. By the time the sun rose, a living field was being unrolled across the plastic turf that the Jets and Giants have played on for years. The cost for this single venue, just for field construction and specialized equipment, topped $13 million. The grass was not for them. It was for FIFA. FIFA did not negotiate. It issued a 47-page mandate. Every World Cup stadium, including climate-controlled domes where natural grass had never grown, would install a perfect natural pitch. The specifications covered root zone depth, drainage rates, surface temperature, and daily light integrals. No exceptions. The owners of the most expensive sports venues on earth read the document. They called their groundskeepers, and they wrote the checks. These were the same men who had spent a decade telling the NFL Players Association that natural grass was impossible in their buildings. Too expensive. Wrong climate. Too many concerts. The talking points were well rehearsed. They evaporated the moment FIFA picked up the phone. What the owners called impossible was, in fact, a massive but routine engineering challenge. Beneath the sod, workers installed modular plastic decking, geotextile fabric, and 6 to 10 inches of engineered sand root zone. A stitching machine then drove synthetic fibers vertically through the grass, anchoring it against the rotational forces of a sprinting athlete. At AT&T Stadium, the blend was 84% Kentucky bluegrass and 16% perennial ryegrass. Developed through years of FIFA-funded trials at Michigan State and the University of Tennessee. In enclosed venues, Dutch LED grow lights ran 18 hours a day. Subsurface ventilation systems pushed oxygen to the roots or sucked away stormwater in minutes. This was not landscaping. It was a temporary biological machine designed for a 29-day tournament. And it worked. The injury data. In the NFL, the lower extremity injury rate is 1.42 per game on artificial turf, compared to 1.22 on natural grass. But the severity gap is the real indictment. A multi-season study published in the American Journal of Sports Medicine found that a player injured on synthetic turf has a 60% higher odds of requiring season-ending surgery than one hurt on grass. ACL sprains are 67% more frequent on synthetic infill turf. Non-contact foot and ankle injuries jump by 69%. The biomechanical reason is simple. On natural grass, a cleat tears through the surface, releasing rotational energy. On synthetic turf, the shoe locks into polyethylene fibers. The leg stops. The torque travels upward until something gives. Often, that is the anterior cruciate ligament. A career changes in a single cut. 92% of NFL players want grass. The union surveyed more than 1,700 of them. The number was so overwhelming that the league office did not release it. The union published it themselves. Jermaine Illuminor, a Giants offensive lineman in his 10th season, watched the MetLife installation and said what many were thinking. With MetLife getting grass, obviously it's cool for FIFA and the World Cup. But us as players would have a say in the fields that we get to play on. He called the double standard a sucky feeling. Harrison Phillips, a defensive tackle who has torn his ACL twice, stood on the new grass and later put it plainly, if they're able to figure it out for other organizations and other groups playing, they probably can figure it out for us. Nick Bosa, the 2022 Defensive Player of the Year, said his preference for grass will influence where he signs in free agency. George Kittle formally asked the league to address the discrepancy. An anonymous veteran told The Athletic, "I've been asking for grass for 8 years. They told me it couldn't be done. Then FIFA shows up and suddenly it can? I feel like a fool." Dallas Cowboys owner Jerry Jones defended synthetic surfaces at the league meetings. "We have no belief that it's any safer to play on a grass field or a turf," he said. His own stadium, AT&T Stadium, had just installed a flawless natural pitch for the World Cup. The cost was significant. He paid it without protest. Because FIFA made him. The owner's economic logic has never been a secret. A natural grass field can sustain roughly 25 hours of intensive athletic use per week before requiring rest and repair. Synthetic turf can host a concert on Saturday, a monster truck rally on Sunday, and a football game on Monday. It is a business decision. The players' bodies are a variable in the revenue equation, not the constant that must be protected at all costs. FIFA, for all its corruption, understands something the NFL does not. The athlete is the product. When Kylian Mbappe plants his foot, the surface beneath him matters because his health matters, his performance matters, his availability for the next match matters. When an NFL player makes the same cut, the surface beneath him matters only insofar as it does not interrupt the television schedule. The next man up will play. The contract revenue will not change. The World Cup final is July 19, 2026. The grow lights will be powered down. The sod will be cut into sections, lifted from its modular base, and hauled away for compost. The specialized sand and gravel will be cleared. The synthetic turf will be reinstalled. When NFL training camps open, the players will report to the same plastic fields they have been pleading to escape. But something has changed. The temporary grass was a proof of concept, executed at scale, under pressure, and full view of the public. The NFL Players Association now holds an irrefutable piece of evidence, photographs of perfect natural grass inside the very stadiums where their members are told it cannot exist. The current collective bargaining agreement runs through 2030. The next negotiation will not be about whether grass is possible, it will be about why, when it was possible for 1 month, it was never permitted to stay. At 5:47 a.m., the last refrigerated truck pulled away from the loading dock. The driver signed the manifest and drove off. The grass sat waiting for the sun, green and alive, a temporary accusation against every argument the owners had ever made. It will not be there in August. That is the point. That is the war.